Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tobin Gregory Group Cast. Jake here and Craig here. Today, me and Craig were chatting. He can't wait to talk to you guys about some sports stuff that happened. So we're just going to jump in and switch some stuff up today. Keep this podcast under 15 minutes. But Craig, man, take it away.
Yeah, so I know not many people probably watched what happened in football this past week. But unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys, wow. So the best way of putting it, my uncle reminded me of this amazing line from Vegas Vacation. I ain't seen a beating like that since they put a banana in my pants and turned the monkeys loose. Wow. So Dallas got outcoached, outplayed, out everything, which leads me into, talking about some stuff here where when you look at a football team, especially a pro football team, multi-billion-dollar franchise, and you have to have all facets working correctly or you're not going to even win a football game. So a lot of that can be translated into life lessons, whether you work in the mortgage industry or not. And I know not all of our viewers, I know we're up to over 230 subscribers, so we're getting close to that million we promised. So realistically, when you look at a business or any business, no matter what it is, you want to focus on all the things that drive a business to be successful. Clearly, the Cowboys are not that business that is successful right now or for the past 30 years, and they're not doing anything to change that. So once again, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results. In life, whether you're in the mortgage industry and watching this or not, you can be working for a business. And if you want to get to a greater height in your career, whether it's sales or anything, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you keep saying to yourself, well, how come I'm not making the money I want to make anymore? Well, because you're not changing things up. So the Dallas Cowboys, they're not changing things up. They didn't bring in free agents. They're doing the same old thing 30 years in a row. And like an idiot, I'm following them and saying, yeah, the Cowboys got it this year, but they haven't done anything to change that up. So clearly, if I'm watching this team and they're doing nothing different to change things up, what leads me to believe that anything in life is going to get better if you don't change things up when it's not successful. Anytime you look at successful franchises in sports, successful businesses, they always have to adapt and change. It's extremely important to understand that when you're working for a person or for a company and you don't like the situation and maybe the person you report to, I hate using the word boss, your manager is not doing anything to help you out, and yet you're expecting to do better. Well, if you don't have anyone helping to coach you or train you or help you get better, chances are you're not going to get better. Yep. So with the Dallas Cowboys in mind, and we can, like I said, you can translate this to whatever it is you do in life. A team like this is really starting to upset me now. I mean, I'm pretty soon going to start covering up these Dallas Cowboy pictures in the background because they're a franchise that's going nowhere. I mean, you're look at all the teams around. Look at your Buffalo Bills, for example.
That's what I was getting ready to say. You've got when you look at a team and you look at success, and you look at everything. You've got coaches calling calls. You've got quarterbacks throwing the ball down the field when you're under 2-yard line. When you could get some space through running, punt, defer, and go into overtime and have a way better chance of winning the game. I think what's missed is there's a lot of passion, number one, and everybody having individual accountability as well, right? Who you surround yourself with directly impacts everybody's success within that organization, right? You don't need the best. You honestly don't need the best to be wildly successful, but you got to be around people that motivate you. You've got to be around people that have the same goals as you. You got to be around people that have passion. And right now, and I'll be completely honest with you, Craig, I want your feedback on this. The industry has been tough for the professionals involved in this industry since COVID. And I think a lot of people jumped in during the wave of you turn around and there's a house that you can buy from low interest rates and just everything that happened through the period of time we went through the last 3 years. I'm not going to name names of that period because we're on social, but we all know what happened, right? And
Sure.
I think everybody got complacent. And like you said, right now is a time of change. You've got to want to jump in and learn how to do things differently. And not for those that are in this industry that are figuring out how to be successful at this time, when things open up, you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do, right? So I think being around individuals that have the passion you have the drive, have the motivation, want to learn and want to grow, when you plug yourself into that environment and you're part of that, there's no way you can't be successful.
Right. You can. So a lot of people, and this will come back to sports, just because we like talking sports. A lot of systems are called, a plug and play system. And when you have good coaches, you don't need the best players at every position because you have the right playbook. And, the Denver Broncos for a long time, you could put any running back in that system for years, and Terrell Davis or anybody, they're 1,500-yard back, they're 10 touchdowns. You put in the next running back because he was good for a few years, and they continue to do the same thing over and over positively because the coaching knows what they're doing. Bill Belichick, perfect example. Tom Brady comes in, he's not the strongest arm, he's not the best at anything, but the guy is an on-the-field coach, and he's a winner. You have a playbook by Bill Belichick, whether you love the Patriots or not, and they win, 6 Super Bowls in a 15, 20-year span. Well, it doesn't get better than that. So when you have someone that's doing that for you, you look at all these great mortgage coaches and inspirational, motivational speakers, the Tony Robbins of the world and people like that. And what they're doing is they're going out there and they're giving you the fire. They're saying, look, this is what you can do to better yourself. So it translates to whatever it is you're doing in life. If you try harder and you're doing it the right way, there's a good chance that you'll succeed. If something is not working, switch it up. It may have worked a few years ago, like you're saying, with the pandemic and everything. There was so many things that happened in the pandemic. It affected children and everything else in schools. And you can't keep doing the same thing you did prior to the pandemic because it changed our whole world and the way that we do things. I mean, I know me personally, I was crazy. I stocked up on toilet paper, paper towels. I still have leftover stuff from that. I had family members coming over and just going into, aisle 1 in my bedroom. And they're like, all right, hey, all paper products, help yourself. I got, 1,000 different things, Lysol wipes and sprays and all kinds of stuff.
Well, and being in, the industry, just to put this in perspective, when it comes to everybody winning, right? I mean, you can have a great leadership team, whether that's the company, whether that's your direct leaders that are in the trenches with you, and whether that's you as front line. But what I think is interesting, and I always talk about my partners, and we talk about this a lot in our industry specifically, our fans. You could have the best football team in the world, but if you don't have people spending money or doing what they do to make the organization successful, which ultimately comes to that, the fans are what drives the success of an organization. Because if an organization doesn't have the funds to continue going or get the good players or have the best coaching staff and that kind of thing, it falls apart. The wheels come off, right? So I don't know why I'm taking it this way, but I like this. Our fans are more than just the people that we put in houses. It's our partners as well. Like, all of that fan base is important to the success of any kind of mortgage organization and any kind of really business in general. You look at the people buying the products, and from leadership down to front line, that's who makes the fans happy. And then the fans are the ones that are going to show that they're happy with what's being provided, right? So every cog is as important as any cog.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're only as good as the last thing you do. And when we're doing these podcasts or whatever you want to call them, a lot of the people that are watching this now could be family, friends, referral partners, past clients, future recruits. Anyone that's watching this, they're looking to see, okay, is there anything interesting we're going to say? Because if Jake and I come on here every week and do the same thing over and over and over again, you guys are going to be like, this is stale, this is no good, why are we even wasting our time? And that's the thing when it comes to work and your job and what you're doing or anything. Why are you wasting your time? You shouldn't be wasting your time. Time is the one thing you can't get back. It is extremely valuable, and you need to take advantage of all of that time, because these are the things that 5 years from now, when you look back and say, wow, I really should have done things better. I mean, I look back and say, wow, I really wish I should have invested in a 401k 20 years ago instead of 10. You're not going to be able to get that back. Same thing with investing in homes. So we talk about this, every few weeks. And again, when it comes to homes and values and interest rates and all the other things that we're hoping is useful for you, you can't get that time back. If I could have invested in that investment property 4 or 5 years ago, that home would be almost double what it is today, depending on the area.
That's a great way to segment into this, because we do want to do this for real estate purposes and to bring perception around what's happening, and to make sure all of our followers are well versed in real estate and all matters real estate. So it's interesting. I'm going to share my screen here because there is something I want to bring up, which is very timely with the industry. And you'll see this. This is from Realtor.com, right? Their label of this graph is an unreasonable rise in home sales. So year over year, if you look at this graph, this is the past 7 years of inventory listings that are available from the past 7 years, January through December. So September had an 11.6% increase in homes available for sale. If you look at every year, the last 7 years, there's been a decrease roughly starting around June, right? People are going into winter, school, different things. This September, we had 11% increase. And it was the NAR chief economist, Lawrence Yun, said that the rise in inventory, I want to quote it exactly. The rise in inventory, and more technically, the accompanying month's supply, implies that home buyers are in a much improved position to find the right home and at more favorable prices. Now, when there's more inventory, supply and demand, the prices, negotiation and prices begin to be a little bit better for home buyers, people looking for homes. On top of that, year over year, ever since the Fed decreased the interest rates, we've seen mortgage interest rates creep up a little bit. They didn't follow suit. Check out our past episodes for that. But we are still at a 1.125% lower rate than last year. So two things I want to talk about. Debt, household debt, and the economy for U.S. Citizens right now, and then home buying. Let's start with home buying with this graph and what we have here, Craig. So knowing that interest rates have gone down year over year about over 1%, and knowing there's more inventory available, what's your take on the state of being able to purchase a home right now?
I would say buy now. Don't sit on the sidelines. This is telling you that you're in a better position than we were a year ago as far as rates go. You're in a better position as far as we are a year ago as far as inventory goes. Now's your time to get off the sidelines if you're going to buy. Don't wait, and we talk about this a lot. Don't wait till the rates fall anymore. You can refi whenever you want against yourself later on. Buy it now if your plan is to get an investment property. If not, sit on the sidelines and wait till the unreasonable, you think a 3% rate's coming back. And it might come back in 10 or 20 years, or maybe there's another pandemic that might happen in another 100 years. So you can wait for those crazy things to happen, or you could take advantage right now if you're truly interested in real estate and building that generational wealth for your family. That's the one thing I would suggest right now. Get off the sideline, get in the action.
Yep. And politically, we all know the election's coming up. We're not going to make this political. That's not Craig and I.
Nope.
Everybody go vote for who you want to vote for. With saying that, I do hear some people right now saying, hey, I'm going to wait till after the election to see what happens. If rates are lower, inventory is higher, buy now, because if it goes the direction you don't believe the country should go, and we do see a negative impact, you've secured the best rate and the best price for a home that you possibly can. If the U.S. goes the direction you think it should and everything does get better, interest rates come down, that does mean there's still going to be a rise in listings available, or potential lowering of listings available. And if real estate prices go up, you're in a worse position there. And at that point, you can take advantage of that better interest rate. So it's going to put you in a better position. With that being said, right now, last thing that we'll wrap up with, refinances, because rates are 1.125% lower than they were last year as far as mortgages go. The Fed just came out for the fourth quarter in a row and stated that they are anticipating 15% of Americans to miss a minimum debt payment over the next 3 months. Okay. So 15% of every person in the U.S. is going to miss that minimum payment needed on a credit card, car payment, liability, whatever they have.
Don't let that happen.
If you are a homeowner and have equity in your home and you're in that position, just have the conversation. It may not make sense to go forward. Craig, myself, and our team have the ability to do soft credit pulls where it will not impact your credit, just for us to take a look and see if we can help. There's a very high possibility with how interest rates on mortgages tend to go up far less than interest rates on credit cards, cars, and the lower total expense items that are out there. So there's been many conversations I've had the last 2 months where we can look at the equity in a home. And even though the interest rates are higher on the home, the debt that we're knocking off of individuals' credits are saving hundreds of dollars a month, if not multiple hundreds, like 500, 400. We've got people right now, we're looking at a refinance, freeing up $484 a month from their monthly expenses. So if you're in a position where things are tight and you're coming up on trying to figure out how to make the minimum payments on your trade lines, even if it's not us, call somebody. Call whoever did your last mortgage if you need to, but call someone and have that conversation, because it's your financial future we're talking about here. And we don't want that to happen to anybody. Craig, wrapping up, buddy. We're a little bit over our 15 minutes this time.
Yeah, so we'll give you guys back 2 minutes next week. Sorry we went over a couple minutes. Hopefully it was interesting stuff for you. I disagree with what Jake said. Call us. Don't call someone else. Call us. We know what we're talking about. We're entertaining. We're attractive. Call us.
Hey.
And look, hey, it's hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I know I will. Dallas is not playing, so we can't lose. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Stay safe.
The season's young, buddy. The season's young. It's anybody's league still. People just got to start winning if they want to make it. It's time. So thanks, everybody.